Welcome everyone. In this video, let's discuss the case notes of Mr. Anthony Stark. We will be getting 45 minutes in total for OET writing subtest, in which the initial 5 minutes is for reading the case notes and the remaining 40 minutes is for completing the writing task. Whenever you are writing a letter, firstly read the notes part and get a clarity over your role. Today's date in this letter is 5/2/2019. Our role is a ward nurse who is working in the burns unit. Mr. Stark has been admitted to our unit from the emergency department after being in a building fire. After completing the notes part, come to the writing task to know to whom we are writing this letter. Here, we are writing this letter as a discharge letter to the community health nurse for the continued care of Mr. Stark. Then, we need to select the data by being in the shoes of the reader, which means the community health nurse. From this page, we want patient's name, Anthony Stark, age 49 years, marital status, married, admission date 17/1/2019, diagnosis 3rd degree burns. As diabetic mellitus can interfere with wound healing, we can select that as semi-relevant data, and we can also add her certain drugs and food allergy. From this page, we need to add every details in our letter. From discharge plan, we need every details: wound cleansing and dressing with Aquacell AG, wound heals, occupational therapy, diet management, high protein diet, increase fluid intake, appointment at burns clinic after 14 days, light activities and no contact. After selecting the relevant data, read the writing task once again and start writing your letter. The main thing in letter writing is we should not use note forms. Next comes the sample letter. The letter starts with today's date and address part. Today's date in our letter is 5/2/2019. Again, whenever we are writing date in our letter, we need to follow this same format. And the address is the Community Health Nurse, CHC, Bruce Banner, 13B Street, George Road, California. Next comes the salutation. As they didn't mention about the reader's name, we are writing Dear Nurse, referring Mr. Anthony Stark, age 49 years. Following the salutation, we will be writing the purpose paragraph, which alone carries 3 marks. In this paragraph, we will be writing patient's full name, diagnosis for which we are referring the patient, and his discharge status. Next comes the assessment paragraph. Whenever writing the assessment paragraph, always remember your assessment paragraph should look like a story, in which initially we will be writing about patient admission and what are all the complaints the patient had during admission. Secondly, we will be writing what are all the investigations were performed to the patient and what does these investigations revealed. Finally, we'll be writing about patient management. What are all the management provided to the patients from our side and how does the patient respond to these treatments. And if you feel your assessment paragraph is exceeding more than 6 lines, please start with new passage. Mr. Stark was admitted on 17th January 2019 following a burn injury on the neck and the chest for which irrigation with cool running water was performed. In addition, he was noted to have respiratory distress. Therefore, his condition was managed with high flow oxygen and intravenous fluids. During hospitalization, he was an indwelling catheter and his urine output was monitored along with cardiac monitoring. As this passage contains more than 6 lines, we are starting with new passage. Subsequently, Mr. Stark was noted to have chest infection. Thus, he was commenced on Augmentin 500 mg for 7 days. Gradually, physiotherapy sessions were initiated for him. Although he has made good progress, he is facing difficulties in mobilization and activities of daily living. Always remember, whenever starting a new passage, we should not mention the patient as he or she. Instead, we need to write patient name first, then we can go with he or she. Next comes the social paragraph. Mr. Stark is married. He has had osteoarthritis and diabetic mellitus since 2005 and 2008. He has dust and food allergy. Following the social paragraph, we will be writing the recommendation paragraph, which is again an important paragraph to score more marks. In recommendation paragraph, we will be mentioning what are all the services the patient needs from the recipient side. It would be beneficial if you could provide dressings for Mr. Stark's wound with Aquacel AG until the wound heals. Please encourage him to consume high protein diet. It is important to increase fluid intake with adequate rest. Of note, he has an appointment at Burns Clinic after 2 weeks. And the last paragraph is called as the conclusion paragraph, in which we will be asking the recipient to contact us if he or she has any queries related to the patient's condition. Finally, completing the letter with the signing off. As they didn't mention about the community health nurse name, we are writing yours faithfully, registered nurse.